Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MVP Tech Bytes, where we actually interview and do certain things with the MVPs. Today, we have a very special guest, Mert Yeter. Mert, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Tasvar. Thank you for having me in MVPTechBytes. I've been an Azure MVP for 2 years, and I am working as a cloud solutions architect at 360. And I love making contributions. I love Microsoft, and that's me.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Mert, for loving Microsoft. So today, I believe we're going to be talking about OpenAI. So
Yeah.
do you want to share, explain to people what OpenAI is and how developers could actually use OpenAI? Do you want to share your screen?
Yes. Okay. Today we are going to talk about Azure OpenAI services. Maybe all of you already experienced ChatGPT and you already know OpenAI, also from GitHub Copilot. But today we are going to talk about Azure OpenAI services. Before starting to my presentation, I would like to talk about AI landscape. There are different terms about AI, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI. This is the new one. Uh, Artificial intelligence is like imitating human behavior and executing tasks without um, human input. We can define like that. Machine learning is like you have an algorithm and you have a data. You feed that data to that algorithm and you can start making predictions
Mhm,
like weather conditions and other stuff. Deep learning is much more complicated than machine learning. You use different layers of algorithms, and we call this artificial neural networks.
mhm,
In deep learning, we imitate the human brain.
mhm,
It is used in more complex use cases. Many Azure AI services use deep learning models, and the generative AI models you can produce new content with the description you
mhm,
make. Uh, we have three main capability groups. First one is generating natural language.
mhm,
We can give an example of ChatGPT. And there are two sub groups: text completion. You can generate and edit text.
mhm,
And the other one is embeddings, like searching, classifying, or comparing text.
mhm.
Next group is generating code. Most of the developers use ChatGPT for generating code, like me.
Okay. Mhm.
And the last one is generating images. And I'll try to show every group today in
Okay.
the demo.
So Mart, why use Azure OpenAI though?
That's a good question. So because OpenAI has APIs, we can use OpenAI directly.
Mhm,
But Azure OpenAI has some benefits, like you have pre-trained generative AI models,
mhm,
and also you can customize the models. You can upload your own data, and you can fine-tune the model. That's a very good feature if
Okay.
you have a specified data or business. And also, this is the new conversation. People always asking about the harmful content.
Mhm,
You can create harmful content
yes.
for with AI, but in OpenAI there are built-in tools to prevent um, generating harmful content. You cannot use AI for your um, bad stuff on
Mhm,
AI, so you can use it safely. And the last one is like all other Azure services, you can use the built-in security features on Azure, like enterprise security with role-based access control. You can
okay.
use private networks. You don't have to make your OpenAI services public. And I'd like to talk about Microsoft AI portfolio.
Okay.
We Microsoft group in three groups. First one is the machine learning platform. We have the machine learning studio,
Mhm,
and other one is cognitive services. Uh, OpenAI service include in the cognitive services like the vision, speech, language, and decision. Some
okay.
of the services overlapping the cognitive services, but sometimes people are asking which one um, should I choose. It depends on your needs and your budget
Mhm,
because As I said, it is overlapping, but you can choose the cognitive services or you can choose the OpenAI services. It depends on your actual needs.
Okay.
And if you watch the Microsoft presentation as MS Build this
Mm,
year, uh, nearly every product has AI capabilities like Microsoft 365 and Windows and Bing.
yeah,
We are already using Bing in Microsoft Edge. So I think the only product not using AI capabilities is Xbox, but I am looking forward to see the OpenAI integration with Xbox.
it should be coming later. Hopefully.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
let's talk about the models. Uh, we have four different model groups in
Okay.
OpenAI services: GPT-4, GPT-3, codecs, and embeddings. Let's look
Okay.
at in details in every model.
So before we go in, like what are the differences between these models? Like, I mean, you say 3 and 4 and stuff. Like, can you explain like what's the differences? Maybe even the four.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll explain in the next slide. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Sure.
Okay. So in GPT-4 models, we have two submodels, GPT-4 and GPT-4 32K. The difference is the capability. GPT-4 32K is 4 times more capable than GPT-4.
Mhm.
You can see in this the token capability. Token
Okay.
means is, for example, I will give the Microsoft example. For example, let's think about the word hamburger.
Yeah.
Okay, it consists of three tokens, hamburger, and for the smallest words, we can count as one token, but the
Mhm.
longest ones we can count uh, the tokens much more than that. And for the
Mhm.
GPT-3 models, we
Okay.
have DaVinci, Curie, and Babbage Ada, and the
Okay.
GPT 3.5 Turbo. And there are some differences with these models. Um, I can say it depends on the use case. For example, if you would like to use the parsing text or simple classification, you
Mhm.
can choose Ada model, or semantic search classification, you can use Babbage, or if you want to use language translation or more complex classification, you can use text query, or the most powerful one, you can use the DaVinci model. And sometimes people are asking why we don't use the most powerful one every time,
Mhm.
because every model has different capabilities and every model has different prices. So
Okay.
you need to choose the perfect fit for the model. It's like choosing the pricing tier for
Mhm.
or other Azure services like
So
VMs or app
yeah.
services.
So I guess in some way it's almost like a VM. Do you need a strong VM or like a
Yeah,
okay, like running for databases or web server?
yeah,
All depending on your needs, basically.
yeah. And codex models, we have a session with you about Copilot,
Okay.
and this is the model Copilot use.
Mm-hmm.
There are two submodels, again, DaVinci and Koshman. It's again about the capability, and the powerful models run slower than
Mm-hmm.
the other models, but they are more capable. And the embedding models,
Okay.
and there
So
are,
what are
okay,
embedding models though? Like, I mean, what do they mean?
okay, embedding models are, it's like more data science,
Okay.
because we like data scientists work on like the context relevance and searching, regression, animal detection. You
Mm.
can use embedding models for that kind of work.
Okay.
You can see the uh, model list on the slide. Uh, I will show you in the demo the details,
Okay.
but you can make the you can understand the difference with the models prefix and the suffix. Like clustering has the starting with text and the
Mm.
similarity, and the search models like text search, and the code models are the starting with code and container search and the model name. So these are the differences between the models.
Mm.
The basic is the dimension capability. You
Okay.
can see the details and you can see the how powerful is DaVinci
Okay.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was gonna ask, like, what is there for developers? Basically, I see all these models everywhere at
Okay.
and like Da Vinci and all that stuff. But like, as a developer, what am I looking for?
Okay, so Azure OpenAI service is not only for data scientists; it's
Okay,
for developers. So we have a REST API like
okay,
all other services, but in OpenAI service we have .NET SDK, Java SDK, and JavaScript SDK. We can
hmm,
use directly in our code, or we can choose REST API.
okay,
So there are lots of ways to use OpenAI services. Let's jump to the demo, and I would like to show the power of OpenAI services.
sure,
Okay, I would like to start from scratch,
okay,
and I have no resources. I'll start creating with Azure OpenAI resource. So you need to submit a form to
okay,
use OpenAI. We can share the links in the
hmm,
comments. So let's start with using Azure OpenAI. So it is like the other services. So you can see the other cognitive services
okay,
and on the left. So I'll create a new one. Okay, now we have only four regions: East
okay,
US, France Central, UK South, and West Europe.
hmm,
Uh, every region has different capabilities, so you cannot see every services in every region. That's
okay,
why I am going to choose East US to able to show you the every possible service.
okay,
Okay, let's give it a name. And now we have only standard pricing tier
okay,
right now. Okay. Next one is selecting the network. As I said in the on the presentations, I can see the as use get public, or I
hmm,
can use my private networks.
okay,
You can configure here and text. Okay, creating the resource is very simple.
okay. It took
Okay.
pretty fast actually to create the
Yes.
resource. Hmm,
That's what as you said, it is very fast.
sure,
And I go to resource. So this is our resource. You know, it's a standard
hmm,
features, the overview, activity log, and access control. And on the resource management, you can see keys and endpoints.
okay,
These are important for using the REST API and the SDKs. You can
hmm,
grab your key and endpoint here, and you can deploy models, but it is done on OpenAI Studio, not here.
okay,
And you know the other stuff, the networking identity and cost analysis. Let's go to overview, and you can see go to open AI Studio here.
okay,
Let's open it.
okay. So
Okay,
this is Azure OpenAI Studio.
yes.
Yeah,
You can see other cognitive services here,
okay,
but today we are going to focus on Azure OpenAI. We have a playground. We can test OpenAI services here, like chat
hmm,
and completions, like and DALI.
okay,
And on the management, data deployments, models, data files, quotas, and content filters. By the way,
hmm,
this is new.
okay,
And before using any of the item in the playground, we need to deploy a model.
okay,
So I go to deployments. By the way, you can see the models is here,
okay,
or you can create a custom model, and you can upload your own data
hmm,
here. By the way, if you upload your own data, it is not used by any other company
okay,
or any entity.
hmm,
Uh, it is only visible to you. That's the uh, best one of the best features of using Azure OpenAI.
okay,
And let's go to deployments. I'll create a new deployment. Okay, I'll show some models.
okay,
So let's, for example, let's deploy GPT-4, and I will give the same name. Okay,
sure,
let's create. Okay,
No, that was
so
pretty fast too.
yeah,
Mm.
and you can create other models like, for example, TextWG. Now we can use playground. Let's start with
Okay.
chat. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you can we have the configuration blade here. You
Okay.
can change the model and some. You
Parameters.
can change some parameters
Hmm.
about their content randomness of your model,
Okay.
and you can see the details about this. For example, the temperatures, like control randomness. You
Okay.
can change the value, or you can add some text to make the response stop at the
Okay.
desired text,
Hmm.
and you can some fine tuning on the settings. So let's write a message. Okay, you said it's pretty fast, but we need to wait a little bit
Okay.
because he said within the last 5 minutes. Let's wait a moment. Let's try again.
Okay.
Okay, okay, it's working now.
Hmm.
As a developer, I can see the code here.
Okay.
It, it's a very nice feature. It's
Yes. Yes.
Python, C Sharp.
Yep.
Okay. Also the JSON implementation.
Mhm.
Okay. I can set the endpoints. I can copy my key here.
What other
Also,
options are there? Sorry, if I could see one more time.
yeah,
So there's JSON, there's the Python, the
C
C
Sharp
Sharp,
and
and curl.
curl. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So also you can see the raw JSON here.
Okay.
Okay. And the completions, you can select I select my deployment. And also there are lots of predefined examples here. Which one do you want to see?
Uh, let's see. Generate an email.
This one. Okay.
Sure.
So write a product launch email for new AI-powered headphones. I could
Sure.
generate. Okay, it created an email.
Sure.
So as you said, you can see the token details here. You can
Yep.
regenerate it,
Mhm.
or you can fine tune the parameters on the left.
Okay.
And there are lots of predefined samples. Also, you can write your own stuff.
So if you don't mind, click on view code just to
Yes,
see like what kind of code. Okay. Again, same thing. You could actually,
same. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. DALL-E is for generating images.
Mhm.
So what do you want to see?
Generate me a picture of a seagull eating a fish. There we go.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I'll give an example.
Mm.
A developer with glasses playing of 4 on Xbox.
Okay.
This is my daily life. Okay. So you can regenerate it, you can download it, or um, you can see the options here.
Mhm.
I can also see the code.
Sure.
Let's have a look at the code. Yeah, it's
Yes.
again Python and JSON this time, not C Sharp.
Okay.
Okay. It is still in preview, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. So let's jump into another stuff.
Sure.
And you can define your own quota here.
Okay.
We have some limitations, but you can narrow that limitations here. Maybe you don't want your developers use all of the quotas at the same time.
Okay.
You can
Mhm.
change the limits here, and you can define content filters.
Okay.
For example, it is a screen. You can set severity levels for different categories.
Mm.
It's another nice feature. We have only uh, responsible AI features
Okay.
in Azure OpenAI, but again, you can customize that.
Hmm. No, that's a nice feature.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we saw the limitations of the like. Are there any other limitations that we have for developers?
Yes, let's go back to my slides. So, of course, we have limitations.
Hmm.
So, for example, OpenAI resources per region, per subscription is limited to 3.
Okay.
And you have some requests per minute limitations per model.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the differences. And also, as you know, we have limitations for tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see all the details
Okay.
in the list.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to see the details about limitation, pricing, and the capabilities, and also the examples, you
Mm-hmm.
can visit the OpenAI service documentation. Also, there are some nice official repositories on GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
We have lots of samples for different languages like C Sharp, Java, and Python. There are some also Jupyter notebooks
Great.
to work on.
Great. So here's the QR code if you wanted to actually get more information on OpenAI services. So again,
Yeah.
thanks a lot, Mart, and we'll share some additional resources in our show notes of how to actually subscribe to OpenAI, like using the Azure Portal and stuff, which form you have to fill, and all that. So again, thanks a lot, Mart. I learned quite a lot on OpenAI today, how to use it as a developer too, how it could generate codes and help me with it. So great. Thanks a lot, Mart.
You are welcome, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll see you again on the next episode of MVP Tech Bytes. Bye.
Bye.